We continue our power and influence coverage, investigating how energy utilities influence our environment and your pocketbooks. An Arizona Corporation Commissioner says her colleagues need to address questions about ethics and transparency.
Joe Dana has been reporting on the ethics complaint that prompted this latest move for the last 10 months. Joe?
You may remember back in February, we were the first to report that newly elected Commissioner Kevin Thompson was the subject of an ethics complaint filed by a well-known consumer advocate. At issue was whether it was ethical for Thompson to meet privately with Wall Street investors of utilities. During the same time, rate cases were pending before the commission. We later learned of additional private meetings Thompson had with investors, with fellow Commissioner Nick Myers also attending one of those private meetings. Now, commissioners act as judges. They are expected to follow strict standards about who they meet with and what they discuss. However, the commission never launched a formal ethics investigation into that complaint. And one commissioner says there's still a problem.
And I fully support us moving forward and wanting to revamp the Code of Ethics.
That was Commissioner Anna Tovar back in March, arguing the Corporation Commission needed to figure out how to properly enforce its Code of Ethics. The code is considered one of the strictest in the country, and for good reason. During a 5-year stretch, the Arizona Corporation Commission saw 2 commissioners admit to violating campaign finance laws. Another resigned while under investigation for conflict of interest violations. Another indicted for bribery and fraud, though a jury was deadlocked on the case. Another admitted to violating the state's open meeting law.
The commission has gone through some very dark days.
It's why the commission first approved a code of ethics in 2018.
Let me make a motion.
And has since tightened it up further. But what's a code without a way to enforce it? In an October 30th letter filed with the commission, Anna Tovar is asking Chair Jim O'Connor to close the loop on enforcing the code. Tovar is raising several concerns, including commissioners' duties related to open meeting law and ex parte communications. Both of those issues addressed in the ethics complaint against Thompson, after he took that trip to New York to meet with banks that invest in utilities, which critics said at minimum gave the appearance of conflict of interest. Thompson said his trip was proper.
I haven't violated any of the Corporation Commission's ethics rules.
And in response to the ethics complaint, Thompson and his 4 colleagues on the commission held a closed-door meeting with commission attorneys. Then 3 of them voted to dismiss the complaint and not proceed with an official investigation. But Tovar abstained from voting, saying the Code of Ethics was not clear about how to handle complaints.
It is, in my opinion, that the current Code of Ethics does not in any way, shape, or form detail the process clearly.
We made several requests to speak to those in charge at the Corporation Commission, the chief ethics officer and the executive director, asking them if this ethics complaint was handled appropriately. I called and sent text messages, even approaching the executive director at the office.
We have a public relations person that you should be speaking with.
That public relations rep did prepare a statement for us back in June, but then told us their attorneys advised them not to release it. Now, this is all they have to show for it. The statement, several paragraphs long, completely redacted.
Nobody writes 2 pages worth of nothing. I'm sorry.
Consumer advocate Abhay Padgaonkar, who has prompted previous reforms at the commission, filed the original ethics complaint.
I am outraged. They didn't look at the evidence they had. They didn't investigate. And now it comes out that they're hiding from the public what they did to protect one of their own.
Now, as the year comes to a close, any proposal to reform the complaint process has not been addressed. Tovar says commission attorneys have drafted a proposal. She wants the commission to consider it. I asked Chair Jim O'Connor 2 weeks ago if he planned to address Tovar's concerns.
You know, January would be the earliest that we would get to it. And there's no pending crisis or urgency or time is of the essence. Let's cancel Christmas. We got to get to the bottom of this evil thing. Doesn't exist.
But a former chair of the commission disagrees.
That is an issue that ought to be addressed, probably as one of the top priorities.
Republican Bob Burns was part of the commission when the Code of Ethics was first adopted.
Commissioner Burns?
Aye.
Burns says he's concerned this current commission appears to be improperly influenced by the utilities.
One of the most serious things that can happen is you end up with a captured commission, captured by the utility, and the protection of the ratepayer goes out the window.
And Tovar has more concerns. She also says the Code of Ethics needs to be revamped because she's concerned about undue influence over employment decisions at the commission, involuntary staff departures, and questionable social media posts by commissioners. All of this comes as the commission is about to make a very big decision on APS rates. APS is asking for higher rates, upwards of average of 10%.
Yeah, Joe, these two new commissioners, Thompson, Myers, have consistently made decisions that are in favor of utilities. They are Republicans, and Republicans typically do support the business community. So in this case, the utilities, so are they really about ethics, or is it really just about politics with them?
And that's a good question. Often Republicans support the business community for very important, good reasons, right? In this situation, what you have are ultra wealthy banks and financial institutions that are doing everything they can to persuade the 5 corporation commissioners to essentially do what APS wants, because the more revenue APS makes and the more infrastructure APS builds, the more money those banks make for their shareholders. That's why these ethics rules are so important. Now, yes, there may be politics involved, but it's important to note people like Bob Burns, this former commission chair, and another former commissioner, outspoken Republicans themselves are saying they are concerned about what's happening right now. So it's not just, say, some Democrats who are attacking these Republican commissioners. And when they use the phrase captured commission, that's very serious. And when the former chair says he believes there's an appearance of a captured commission, that raises red flags with people in this industry, because it essentially means commissioners are beholden to what the utilities want and Wall Street wants. Yeah. Not what's best for us, or all of us,
big conflict,
the ratepayers who are paying our electricity bill every month.
Yeah.
Wow. Joe, thanks so much for that story, and keep digging for us.
Okay.